For the past 6 years, LEGO has been releasing Skyline sets for their architecture series. Basically, a skyline of a certain famous city with a bunch of little landmarks. What's up guys, Caleb here, and today we are going to be ranking the 14 LEGO architecture skyline sets from what I think is the worst to what I think is the best. This video took me a very long time to edit, so do make sure to drop a like and subscribe down below if you like what I'm putting out, and also leave your comments below on what you think is the best and the worst skyline, because I genuinely am curious. Without further ado, let's get into it with number 14, which is the Berlin Skyline. It's one of the only $30 skyline sets that LEGO has ever released, and there's honestly just not much exciting going on with this. It does have a cool museum as well as little remnants of the Berlin Wall, which I do think is a cool detail, but overall it's just probably the most forgettable skyline. I honestly didn't even know this set existed until I made the video. $30 is a lot smaller than most of the other skylines, and it's just sort of boring in my opinion. There's just not too much to it. I don't know. 13 and 12, we have a tie between set 21038, the Las Vegas Skyline, and set 21047, also the Las Vegas Skyline. You might not notice the difference, so I'm going to give you a quick 30-second rundown. Back in 2017, LEGO was planning to release set 21038 Las Vegas with the Mandalay Bay Hotel, but after the tragic events that occurred there that fall, they decided to switch it out with set 21047, which is the, obviously, Las Vegas Skyline. Somehow, only 20 of set 21038 with the Mandalay Bay Hotel actually got out of the factory into a shop in South Africa, making it the rarest architecture set ever. So I kind of count these two sets as the same set, and it does count them as brick set as two different sets. So I put it at 12 and 13 as the two Las Vegas Skylines. They're just not really my favorite looking sets in general. And number 11, we have the Chicago Skyline. Now this is one I originally really did like, but then I started to realize that there's just not a lot of street space on this one. Like there's a lot of space, and it's just kind of like empty looking. I don't know. I do really like the 3 or 4 like skyscrapers they had, as well as the bridge. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good looking one. It just feels empty and a little bit lacking, and that's why I put it so low. Coming in at number 10, we have the LEGO Venice Skyline, and this is a very good looking one. That's one that's definitely aged on me. When it came out, I didn't really like it that much, but now that I'm growing older, I'm starting to really like it. This was another one of the only $30 LEGO Skylines, which I do kind of wish we still got. Venice is just such a beautiful city in general, and the colors match really well, and LEGO just did a great job of representing the city. I honestly don't have too many faults with this one. Number 9, we have what I think is the most overrated LEGO Skyline set, and that is the New York Skyline. This set has been available for 6 years. It's literally one of the first Skyline sets ever, which is just like absolutely nuts to have a shelf life that long. My favorite part is the tiny Statue of Liberty that comes with this set. That part's just adorable, but I feel like, again, it's like the Chicago one where there's a lot of empty sidewalk space that I really wish LEGO would have done, like, you know, like a Central Park or something. There's just, it feels, you know, like, I don't know, missing something, and I'm not really sure what it is. It's just a lot of empty space again. Coming in at number 8, we have the Dubai Skyline, which is one of the only 3 actual, like, architecture skylines that I own. You can see these pictures right from my review, but the Burj Khalifa in this is just magnificent. Like, it's probably the tallest skyline set I imagine, and it dominates the rest of the buildings, honestly. It's the main thing that you see in the skyline is the Burj Khalifa, and it's beautiful. It's leaps and bounds better than the Burj Khalifa we had like 10 years ago. That thing just doesn't stand a chance when it's compared to this. Like, this is a great looking skyline. I honestly wish LEGO would have just released the Burj Khalifa and not done a Dubai skyline. Number 7, we have the Singapore Skyline, which is the only skyline set that we have gotten in 2022. And it's also the biggest skyline set, like the skyline set with the most pieces, $60, but it's a big boy. I know this sounds weird to say, but I love it when LEGO includes like water in a skyline set like this, and this has a lot of water. Like, there's a whole river with all the little houses. There's a Marina Bay Sands Hotel, which is probably the most recognizable part of it, but this whole skyline is really great looking, and it's one that I'd honestly like to pick up at some point. Like, it's a really good looking one, very colorful and fruity, and I like it. Number 6 is, in my opinion, the most underrated skyline set, which is the Sydney Skyline. Nobody talks about this skyline set at all, which really gets on my nerves because it's incredible. I love the tiny version of the Sydney Opera House. Is incredible, as well as this really cool sort of unique bridge design with little sailboats in the water. This is another one that I believe is only like $30, and it's just one that not enough people talk about. It's one that I really do want. It's one of the original Skyline sets, and it's just mad underrated in my opinion. We have officially cracked into the top 5 best architecture Skyline sets. Number 5 is the London Skyline. This is another one that's been available for an astonishing 6 years, which is just wild to me. My favorite part is the little London Bridge. London Bridge, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'll correct if it's wrong, but it's a very, very good looking one. Another one that's only $40. This is another one that I've got to pick up, as it's literally been available for 6 years. Probably gonna retire soon, so if you haven't bought this one, I would suggest buying it before it retires, because it's a really good looking one. Number 4, we have the Paris Skyline. This is honestly one that I never really knew existed until this weekend when I picked it up like on an impulse buy at Target and built it. And it's a very, very good looking set. The Eiffel Tower just looks beautiful, and the other buildings complement it very well. Honestly, the Eiffel Tower kind of like, it still is a show from the rest of the Skyline, but it's a very, very beautiful one, especially when you have it in person, I think. Number 3, we have the first Skyline set I ever got, which is the San Francisco Skyline. I absolutely love the way this Skyline set looks, and I do have a lot of nostalgia. As I mentioned, it was my first Skyline, and it was like one of the first videos I ever did on my channel, so I do have a lot of nostalgic love for this set. But besides that, like, the Golden Gate Bridge just looks phenomenal, and the other buildings complement it well, as well as the sort of like bay and Alcatraz Island, as all the tiny little details and stuff just like nailed down to a T. This is a phenomenal Skyline set. Second place is honestly really hard not to put this first. It's the Tokyo Skyline. This set just looks phenomenal. It captures Tokyo really well with the little mountain, all the like jam-packed buildings that you see in Tokyo movies and stuff. I guess it's in real life too, but it's a phenomenal looking one. Like the colors and the buildings, Lego just hit it out of the park with this set. Honestly, super hard not to put this at number 1, and this is definitely one that I'd like to buy in the future because this just looks absolutely stunning. Last, for the few people that actually watched this far into the video, my favorite Skyline set is the Shanghai Skyline. This is a beast of a set. I do really like the little like temple and stuff it has, as well as the water that just runs throughout the streets. But the blue building, the techniques they use are just like wild, especially the gray building with the crazy sort of like curving spiral that they have going up. It is such a hard thing to like achieve with Lego bricks, honestly. And I had no idea this was going to be my favorite Skyline set until I sat down and actually ranked them, and I figured out that this is just the greatest Skyline set of all time, in my opinion. The colors contrast each other so well. The just massive skyscrapers. It's instantly recognizable, and it's just a beautiful Skyline. One that I definitely want to buy as soon as possible. There you have it, guys. That is the 14 Lego Skyline sets ranked from worst to best. Please do, again, let me know which one you thought was the best in the comment section below and what you changed on my list, because I genuinely am pretty curious. The Seaward Productions sign off for now. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date with my latest content, because I have some pretty big videos coming soon. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out.